Welcome back, guys. Today on Nolland Industries I'm going to be putting in the new second-hand Rb25 gearbox. Check it out.
Tell me, is it whack up in the air, rapping scattered off the gear? I can map him, get the air. It's like a tracker, get distracted, send him back like in the mail. Not a fraction of them real, catch him lacking, run the drill. Running through the shit like a motherfucking age.
Alright, so if you watched the last episode, you would have seen me tear down the blown Rb25 gearbox, and we found that third gear was absolutely cooked, which is right there. So that's the old box, and I bought a new second-hand gearbox off the internet for $1,500, which is a good deal at the moment. They're selling quite expensive. They used to be about $1,000. Now they're like, some people asking $2,000. So they have gone up in price, but still not too bad. It does suck, but it's not too expensive. But this box here, I got it home, went to put it in gear just to check before I put it in the car, because that's the last thing you want, a problem when it's in the car. And it wouldn't go into any gears. It was stuck in third gear, and I was like, what the heck's going on here? So contacted the seller. He was really nice, top bloke. He said, bring it back to me. He's like, I got a receipt for it. It's actually been rebuilt. So he blew third gear in it, and then a gearbox shop rebuilt it. So he said it should be fine, but it had been sitting for 2 months. So we had to play with it, couldn't get it to work. So he took it back to the shop with his receipt. The shop put a pry bar on it and pulled it out of third gear and just said it's just because it's been sitting there. So awesome news, the gearbox is freaking mint. Also, the history of this box, it's actually brand new from Nissan. It was brand new from Nissan, and then he blew third gear and it's had a rebuilt third gear put in it. So it should be a really nice box once it's installed and all working. First things first, I've got to do a couple of little things to this box and change it over to make it all work. This sensor's going to stay. This one here is toast, so I have to try and get that out, which I'm thinking is not going to be fun because I did give it an attempt, but a normal spanner doesn't fit on there. So yeah, that's going to be fun. And then also speed sensor needs to go in here, which I have from the last one. And when we were playing around, I've broken off the bloody plastic piece on the bottom of my gear shifter, which is there. So I'm going to have to get a new one of those. GK Tech does a solid brass one, which would be ideal, but it's not going to be here in time. I will order one, but this is easy to get to once it's in the car anyway. You just pop it out through the top. So for the time being, I'll get another plastic one and we'll run that, because I have there's an event tomorrow that I'm going to be going to with the 180. It's like a coffee and cruise, so I'll also be covering that in a vlog, and that should be heaps of fun, heaps of cool people going to that one. So I need to get this done today so that tomorrow I can drive it, and tonight I'm going to roll racing, so I don't have much time. I've got to get a move on this and get it installed, so fingers crossed everything goes well. Alright, let's get stuck into it. So I'm just giving it a bit of heat on the actual gearbox, just to loosen it up a bit. This one's good because it's got the cable actually cut off, so I can just put a ring spanner on here, and it came loose straight away. Happy days. Sweet. So I'm pretty sure, like, it might still work. I could solder on some wires on there, but I don't know, because I've got the other box, I can just go grab that one. I'll do that now. Alrighty, so this is my my old box that I know this sensor works on. The other one I'm not sure if it works, so I'm going to reuse this. And to get it off, the ring spanner works perfect. Anything else, it just doesn't get a hold of it. And these are really soft as well, so you don't want to round it. And to get my ring on there, obviously it's not going to fit over that plug. So I'm just picking out the pins, and then I'll be able to fit my socket straight over that, and I'll be laughing. You just want to be really careful not to damage your plug, but it is removable. There's a little tiny tab in there that you can push, and you can slide out the pin. And these are really handy. These you can buy these type of connectors and use them. And yeah, they're awesome. I used to do a little bit of auto electric work, so I've played with these before, so I don't mind pulling it apart. But yeah, if you pull something apart, usually you can put it back together and you'll learn, which is always the good, but the more you know, the more you're worth. So I just realised that on the old box, these are actually around the other way, so I'm going to have to take that one out and put it over there, and then put this one into there. So a bit of playing around here, but I'll get it sorted. Okay, so I tried every tool I own, but basically I figured it out in the end. You need a deep socket, and you need to take the wires off. You can just snip them off and solder them back on, but you have to use a deep socket, and you have to shock it. So you have to tap on it, boom, 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 and it will crack free, and then it gets stuck in the actual socket, in the tube socket. And the only way, well, the easy way to get it out is to unscrew it all the way, and then put it in the hole where you want it to end up. Back it in there, and then you'll be able to crack it out once you tighten it. Happy days! Happy days! This has taken ages. I haven't done anything. This has taken forever. But I don't know, I'm making progress now. You know how it is sometimes. Rightio, so I've been playing around for a little bit now and finally made some progress. I've got the switches are all in. Yeah, so deep socket on those. You take the cables off and you can get those off and on. But yeah, it's really soft here, so you got to be careful, and I rounded them a little bit, but they still work. Speed sensors in, the little breather hose on top is on, and oh, I forgot to mention in the last video that the one thing that was stopping me from getting the bell housing off in that last video was this bloody sensor, whatever it does. That one there, because I undone this bolt but I didn't pop this part off, and it's like a long cylinder with a ball bearing on the end, and that came out and then the bell housing just popped off. But yeah, so now I'm just putting the throwout bearing in. So I've got that's already been pressed on there from my old one, but just attached it to the fork. Gonna put some grease inside here and then slide that on, pop him on the ball, and put my dust cover on, chuck some grease on here, but not too much because it will flick it all over the clutch. And then after that, I'll put the mount on the bottom of it, and then we can put it in. So that's, feels like I've made a bit of progress now. Yeah. Nice, nice, Barry. So I just put a little bit of grease right on the end. That'll help it slide into the spigot bearing in the back of the engine. So that's the thrower bearing there, all assembled, and it's a pretty simple, cool little thing once you figure out how it all goes back together. It's quite cool. Well, she's all ready to go in. Everything's all back together on the new box. Now, all I got to do is get it from there onto the jack, which is going to be heavy as shit. I could hoist it on there, or I could just manhandle it and pop it in the car. Yee! Keen as to drive this car. Like, it's only been like 3 weeks. It feels like forever though. Also noticed a whole heap of other issues, like that's from the catch can, but the other big, where the most of all the shit on the ground come from is this bloody steering rack, the steering pump. I'm pretty sure it's leaking out of the top of here, so I need to recondition it, I think. But that's another thing I've never really played with, so I'm learning a lot. The more you learn, I love learning shit on cars. Like, there's always more shit that I haven't really touched before, so it's all a learning curve. It's all good fun. Let's lift this box up in air, eh? That's a heavy fucking gearbox and I'm not very tall. I'm just gonna hoist it up. Alright, so I used the engine crane and I craned it up and put it on there and carefully held it while I tied it off. I forgot to press go on the camera, that's why I didn't film it, but yeah, this is the end product. Sketchy as, but yeah, see how we go, eh? Alright, so I had it on the hoist and I brought it over, and basically to get the gearbox back in it has to be on like a massive 45-degree angle, so that because the firewall is always a bloody problem in these engine swaps, but basically the firewall hits on the top of the gearbox, so I need to have a big angle to clear the top, but also to put an angle on it on that hoist. It's not easy with one person especially. So basically it's just not going to happen on the hoist today. So what I've done, I've come up with a little setup here. I was just going to put it on the jack like the old days of working on the ground and whack it straight in, because you can jack it on an angle easy as, well not easy as but easier. And but I've got this bloody, my hoist has this thing in the way, and so I've had to put some boards down. It seems to be working okay. Just going to lower the car down onto the gearbox, and then just carefully, and then I'll get under there, jack up the gearbox on an angle, and then just manhandle it straight in. It sounds easy, but I already know it's going to be a fuck around. But this other hoist over here that's pending, because I've got to buy the bolts to bolt it into the ground, and the bolts are like $400 or something stupid. So I've got to get those some stage and then mount that. But that hoist there, the hydraulics run across the top instead of on the bottom. It's called a clear floor hoist, which is way better than this fucking, this thing just gets in the way, eh? It's so annoying. But yeah, this is going to be the visitor's hoist, and that's going to be my hoist. Alright, so a little update. I went and had lunch because I got the shits. But basically, I tried it on the ground and I couldn't do it because, it was a pain in the butt. I couldn't jack and move the gearbox at the same time. It's pretty much a two-man job. But like, it's possible, but I got the shits and I was like, oh well, I'll just put it back up on the stand and I'll wait until I have a second person. And then my mate came briefly to drop off some things, and we tried to do it but couldn't quite get it in there. It's a massive angle you need to have to get it up past the firewall. But Jacob's on his way down. He's the man of the hour. He's gonna rock up and we're gonna get this thing in. I'm gonna put a piece of wood up here across the strut towers or somewhere from this side to this side, and then in the middle, and then have a ratchet strap going down and jack the engine up, and then that way I will get more angle down here because the engine will be tilted, so it should be easier. At the moment it's just sitting on there, and also because it's twin plate clutch, it makes it even harder because it's sitting out further away. It's sitting out further away from the engine, but all sorts of clearance issues just because it's a S13 chassis with a Skyline engine in it. It's just a pain in the ass, eh? One day I'll probably cut the tunnel out just to make it easier, because it's just, losing my mind. But yeah, I don't know if I'll make the event tomorrow, hopefully, because it'll be fun if I do. But I don't know, just depends how, because we don't have much time left. We've got to head up to roll racing in a minute, because yeah, want to get there and shoot some vlogs before it gets dark, because otherwise you won't see shit. But I don't know, see what happens, eh? Yeah, good. So my helper's got like straight out of the office and he's coming to work on some cars.
going on?
Yeah. Nothing.
Hey guys, just having to go at trying to get the gearbox in. We've had this brilliant idea. James is just getting a bit ahead of himself. So what what we're doing here is, this is transmission jack that you just use to obviously jack up and hold on to your transmission while it's on the hoist. And we're really struggling to get enough angle on the gearbox. So what we've been thinking is a way of trying to jack up the front of the engine to obviously put some angle on it. And just had this brilliant idea. Just put a 24mm socket on the end of it, onto a long extension, drilled a hole in this piece of wood, and the extension fits really nice and snug in there. And then that piece of wood is just sitting on the bottom of the harmonic balancer.
Now we've got some angle on the engine, you can see from here, on this angle. So we're going to try and lift the gearbox up and slide it in there, but it's even harder because I've got the twin plate clutch, so it sticks out even further. Because it came out of here, we know it can go back in, it's just getting that exact angle.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's going to go straight in.
Yeah, hopefully.
Straight in, mate.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Alright, so we finally got all the bolts back in. Bloody excited to put it back down and do the last starter motor bolt on the top, and then she's good to go. So thanks heaps to Jacob for giving me a hand, you bloody ripper. And yeah, we will make it to the event tomorrow. We were going to drive out to roll racing tonight, but we need to take the gear stick out of that in the morning and chuck it in as well, because mine broke. So yeah, we will make it to the event though. I was a bit worried, didn't know if we were going to make it or not. It should be fun. Happy days. That's the end of this vlog, guys. The gearbox is back in the 180 and I can drive it once again. So thanks heaps for watching again. If you like this video, hit the like button, drop a comment on what you want to see in the future videos, and hit subscribe. Cheers, guys. Looking on point. Looks so good under these lights.
Distract us in the bed like in the mail, not a fraction of them real. Catch them lacking, run the drill. Running through the shit like a motherfucker.